Hi, it's John, and welcome to the channel. It is Tuesday, March the 18th, 5:24 a.m. with the big blue mug of coffee. I've been up for a couple of hours. I shot a whole video, and I'm not putting it online because I thought there's a bigger story here, and it's being missed by a lot of people. I know I say that often, but this is incredible. And it never dawned on me until I was pretty much done the other video. This is an issue that Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives can grab a hold of and use against Mark Carney. He made a huge blunder yesterday, huge. And it's in response to Pierre Poilievre saying this.
Today I am announcing that a common sense, Canada First Conservative government will repeal the entire carbon tax, including the federal backstop that requires provinces impose industrial taxes. There will be no taxes on consumers, no taxes on Canadian industries.
So Poilievre is going to get rid of the industrial carbon tax, and this is Carney's baby. This is the hill he will die on, folks. It's going to be a climate change type election. So he's asked about this yesterday, and he's hitched his wagon with the EU. And he explains why he's hitched his wagon to the EU, but listen to what he says about the United States of America at the end of this clip. It's jaw-droppingly ridiculous, and it's stunning that the man who wants to be the full-time prime minister of this country would actually say it.
Guess what one of the requirements is to diversify trade to the European Union? Guess what one of the requirements is to diversify trade to the United Kingdom? Guess what one of the requirements will be to diversify trade to emerging Asia? Is to have a form of price on carbon. So we are able to think one step ahead. We're able to go out and see the world. We're able to help Canadian companies prepare. And you know what's going to happen 5 years, 10 years from now? If I have the pleasure of being in front of you, you'll be asking me the question, if we didn't do this, if we didn't help our companies get more prepared, the Americans are going to start caring about this again. They have elections every 4 years.
The United States is going to start caring about this? They have elections every 4 years? My jaw dropped when I heard him say that. And nobody mentioned this anywhere that I can see. I didn't see anybody posting this on X. It's possible it's out there. But from what I can understand, this man is willing to sacrifice trade with our biggest trading partner by a long shot for at least 4 years. Folks, if J.D. Vance gets elected in 4 years and then gets reelected, 12 years down the road, the United States might start caring about this thing. And what does it mean when the United States does not have an industrial carbon tax? It means anything that comes into our country is taxed even more, which drives up prices for you. The amount of trade we do with the EU, which Mark Carney wants to be affiliated with, is like this. The United States, it's huge. And he's willing to give up on that for at least 4 years if he becomes prime minister. Legitimately. And here's the thing, that's the long term. He doesn't even want to talk to Donald Trump right now in the short term because he's got hurt feelings.
We've called out those comments. They're disrespectful, they're not helpful, and they need to stop before, and they will have to stop before we sit down and have a conversation about our broader partnership with the United States.
Mark Carney is a dangerous man. He's not even willing to talk to Donald Trump because he's got hurt feelings. And he doesn't want to talk to Donald Trump. He doesn't want the issue resolved. I've said that all along because it helps him in the polls. If this industrial carbon tax is in place in Canada, the country will fall apart. Said it yesterday. I've seen other people online over the last 24 hours saying, who's the biggest threat to the country, Donald Trump or Mark Carney? Because if the industrial carbon tax is in, it will decimate the oil and gas industry. It will decimate all the big industries, steel, aluminum, and it will cost you more money. And Carney's scheme doesn't even make sense. He can't even explain it. Watch this.
So our plan, and in fact the regime that's in place in Canada, and a variant of this regime is in place. There are some variances, you know, Tonda, between the provinces, but a variant of this linked to California is in place with Quebec and British Columbia, is to have a form of price for the largest on carbon, for the largest emitters, said differently, the largest polluters. Now, what we are doing is changing that system or improving that system so that the price that's paid can be reduced by so-called carbon credits that are allocated. We're adding additional ones. We will be adding additional ones that ensure that the polluters are paying so that Canadians can receive support to reduce their own emissions. So it's a more efficient system. It works better for the large polluters. It works better for Canadians.
It's a more efficient system. What the hell is he talking about? I don't even think he knows what he's talking about here. Sounds rather convoluted to me. And here's the thing, that was yesterday. You'd think he'd have an answer prepared because he's been asked about this before.
The way the system works, it's large companies that are affected by the output-based pricing system, so small and medium-sized companies that have relatively low carbon footprints. This also affects them. The carbon tax comes off them as well. Then they get a choice, and we'll design the incentive system for them. They get a choice whether to reduce emissions and also benefit from these types of credits.
Mark Carney is an absolute joke, and Pierre Poilievre should take that comment he made about the United States eventually getting in line with an industrial carbon tax and run with it. He needs to explain to people, we'll eventually resolve this issue with the United States and Donald Trump, and they're going to be our biggest trading partner. And Mark Carney is willing to wait it out for 12 years. Unbelievable. And here's the thing. Just as a final note, all of this pain and agony and spending and subsidies for climate change, what has it achieved? Absolutely nothing. It's the biggest business in the world. That's why Mark Carney got involved with it. He can make a lot of money on it. That's probably why he's hiding his business investments, because he's going to make money on this stuff. But it's achieved absolutely nothing. Trillions upon trillions of dollars, and nothing gets better. Climate change just keeps getting worse. You know, when government says they're going to spend money on something, say a building, I expect to see a building. If they say they're going to build an arena, I expect to see an arena. I expect to see some results, and I expect the government to tell me what the results are of my tax dollars. Yet there are never results with climate change. It gets worse all the time. Has it done anything to change the temperature of the planet? Nothing. It's the biggest business in the world. It's the biggest grift in the world. And Mark Carney is right at the top of the heap when it comes to pushing the nonsense. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Please give me a thumbs up on this one. It helps out the channel. Subscribe. Let's get over 14,000. I'll ring the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.